This is Chiming In with Elyse and David. So I realized something the other day as I was driving somewhere and I was listening to our podcast. I realized that we're doing a really good job with this podcast.
Okay.
But the other thing I realized is that I am missing so much of what's happening when we're recording the podcast by simply listening and thinking about what I'm going to say next.
Are you admitting that you're not listening?
Well, I am listening because I'm listening to
Oh my
everything you're
God,
saying.
what's today? Should be like a national holiday. What's happening right now?
Well,
Oh my
what's
gosh.
happening, what I realize is that when I'm in the car driving and I'm listening to our podcast, I am listening without thinking about what I'm going to say next because that's all I'm doing. I'm just listening. And when we're sitting here recording, as we're doing right now, and you're talking and I'm talking, then I have to be thinking about what I'm going to say next.
I don't, you have to be?
Well, I mean, I think we're having a conversation, aren't we? We're trying to have a conversation.
Yeah, but so when I'm talking, you're thinking about what you're going to say next as opposed to listening to what I'm saying?
Well,
Is that what you're saying? I'm trying to be clear.
I'm doing both, but I'm also kind of processing what you're saying in terms of what I might say next and how I'm going to respond. And so because of that, I'm not really listening as clearly. I'll give you an example. So last week, you almost made another pun. Do you remember that? You
No,
said
you're asking a
the
lot for me
world.
to remember
You said
that.
the world is your, and you said I'm not going to go there again. Is what you said.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, I didn't remember that at all. And I when I was listening to you say it in the room as we're recording, I completely missed that you had said another pun almost. But when I was listening in the car, I'm like, oh my God, she almost just said the world is your oyster, which is a pun that we talked about in previous
Is it a
episodes.
pun?
Not a pun, I'm sorry, an idiom. Idioms. We're talking about idioms, sorry. So what I'm saying is that
Idiom, idiot.
I didn't.
Okay.
Thank you very much. You're clearly listening to me. So I am just saying that I think for
I
me,
am clearly listening to you. That is true.
you are, but I guess I'm not listening to you like in depth.
You
because-
heard it here first, folks. Oh my God, I'm so pleased. Do not delete this.
I'm not deleting anything.
so pleased.
But let me tell you why I'm bringing this up in the first place. First of all, I feel like when we're recording this, we need to stop it every 5 seconds so that I can listen to what you just said and really understand what you're saying. But besides that, I think that this has a broader implication when I'm thinking about possibly communicating with people in general and you're having a conversation and you might be arguing with someone, or you might be fighting, or you might be just trying to make your point about something, and all you're doing when you're listening to the other person is thinking about how you're going to respond without actually listening.
That is such a great insight. My only request is that you say, instead of saying when you're listening or whatever you just said, you say when I'm trying to make a point.
Okay, when I'm trying to make a point, I'm thinking about what's going to happen next and what I'm going to argue next.
Have I said how excited I am right now? No, this is groundbreaking. This is an epiphany that you just had this.
Well, I knew.
I get it in your car or
I knew
whatever.
that this was kind of a potential problem because,
Challenge.
yeah, because I would talk to you sometimes and you're like, that's not what I said at all, or you're not listening, or you're not hearing me, and
Oh my God,
I guess it's true. And you even threaten sometimes. I'm going to record our conversation. I'm going to go back and let you listen to part of it. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like 10 times a day. So I'm acknowledging, and I would never have realized this had we not been recording
Oh my God.
our conversations in this podcast and then actually listening to it. And like, I'm listening to it for the first time. Like I've never heard these words before.
Amazing.
And I'm actually thinking as I'm driving and listening to our podcast, oh my gosh, I have something really interesting to say, but I've already recorded it, so I can't say it anymore.
You know, it's funny that you say that because when I'm listening to our podcast occasionally, I am saying the same thing in my head that I actually end up saying out loud almost every time. And I'm like, oh, haha.
I guess that's me.
Same, same.
Same.
Me again.
I actually have had that
Still
happen
me.
too. I'm like, I think this is where I break in and make a joke, and then I do, and I'm like, oh yeah, I was thinking the same way that day.
Yeah, well, I think this is really, obviously, I'm giddy with excitement right now. I think this is a very interesting realization. And I'm proud of you. And also, now what? Like, if the first thing you have to do is name, like, recognize something exists in the first place and become self aware and, like, wake up, you know? I just read a quote. It said, when you wake, you become the student, but if you stay awake, you become the teacher. Oh, that was kind of interesting. I literally just read that a second ago for some reason. Yeah. I think that's the first step is you have to understand that there might be a glitch to then understand how to deal with it and cope with it.
Well, I have a suggestion. I've actually been thinking about this a lot. And my suggestion is years ago, I learned a method when you're having a conversation with someone, even a serious conversation. And that is that when you play a little game, you have the person sit across from you and you say, all right, here's how we're going to have this conversation. One of us is going to go first, and we are going to tell the other person how we are bothered by something that the other person is doing, or there's some issue that we need to talk about, and how that makes you feel. Now, that's
All
important.
right, let's try it.
Okay, well, let me tell you the rules first.
I got it.
No, you haven't even gotten to the punchline. So, how that makes you feel. Then the other person, their job, their only job, is to repeat back to the person what they just said, basically word for word, paragraph by paragraph, summarize whatever, but basically, and then ask the question to the other person, did I get that right?
Okay.
And then the other person gets to say, well, you almost got it right, but you forgot this part. And then you would have them do it again, say the same thing,
I'm starting to sweat. I'm getting anxiety here.
until they get it right. And then the person who just responded to the other person saying what they said gets to have their turn to say, okay, so here's what I say about that. And then the other person has to do the same thing. What that does is it forces the person to listen to what is actually going on.
So you learned that wonderful quote unquote game you said many years ago, and it's done wonders.
Well,
You're suggesting it.
sometimes you forget things. But no, I actually remember doing this one time recently with you and one of our daughters. I can't remember who it was, but they were having an argument with you, and I could clearly hear that people were not listening to what the other person was saying. There was just a lot of back and forth with their perspective. And I said, all right, let's play a little game. And I had you both sit down, and I said, all right, now you tell.
We heard the directions.
You heard the directions. So that's what happened. And I thought it went really well. Do you remember that when that happened?
Okay. Yes. What I remember is less about the 5-minute long instruction manual, but more about how we should and need to really listen and not interrupt the other person.
Right.
And a lot of kids, our kids especially, really want to interrupt. They just want to cut to the chase. I just wanted to interrupt you so badly while you were telling those directions. But I'm just saying, like, there's like a speed need for fast forwarding, and so they have it. So when we're trying to make a point to each other, I think that was part of it. They had such a they already think they know what we're going to say.
Do you think that's because?
Did you just hear what I said? I feel
yes,
like you didn't.
You said they
feel
already.
like you
When you
didn't.
talk to our kids, they already feel like they know what you want to say. But you're right. I am thinking about what you're saying.
You
'cause
did not hear me.
I
You
heard
literally
everything.
you wanted to deliver your next line. You did not hear that.
No, listen. Sometimes I have next lines and I want to say them. So
I know. Write them down.
it's rare. No, but no. What I was thinking is that because of the social media and things that are delivered to you in these short, little pithy conclusions, and people are scrolling and moving from one thing to the other, I think that is making people's brains feel like they need to hear the information quickly, summarized, not a lot of detail, or else they're not listening anymore.
Definitely with the teens and young adults. I feel like they are in and out, flip, scroll, side, swipe, like it's a very quick, 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 quick.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even look over. When the kids want to show us something, they're like, oh, let me show you this. And they go, swipe, 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 swipe. My eyes are dead.
Impossible.
I just lost years off
I
my
have the
eyes.
same exact problem. I actually look at them and I'm like, I don't know what you just did.
Like it hurts, physically
yeah,
painful.
yeah, it's crazy.
So yes, so they're very fast. They're very, in a sort of fast moving intake of information. But back to you, my friend. Back to good epiphany days about you.
Yeah, see, I'm very proud of myself.
But so what does that mean? What does that look like? Let's
Well, I think
unpack that a
like
little.
you just said, I feel like it's one of those things that you have to know first is happening.
Of course.
And I know it's happening. So what that means is that when people are talking, I need to be hyper aware of the fact that I have to train my brain to think about what they're saying and maybe even take a pause before I say something
Definitely
back.
take a pause.
Right.
We've learned that many times over from many different mentors, let's call people, whether they're authors or speakers or, people who know more than we do. Always take a pause.
And I feel like I haven't really done that in the past, especially when I make like silly, corny jokes with you
Definitely.
and our kids. I will think about something, it'll pop into my head, and I'll just say it. And lately, I have been thinking a little bit more to filter myself before actually. I'm going to say, is this going to land? Is this going to be something that they're going to think is good or terrible, or they're going to walk out of the room? So I actually have been doing that a little bit more, monitoring myself.
Wow.
Haven't you noticed? Aren't I more fun to be around? No, you're not
No.
noticing that?
No. In fact, Flora, our youngest, 15, was telling me a 3-hour conversation yesterday about her couple days she was away on a sleepover and went to see a basketball game and all this. And she had pretty much narrated every single moment of the entire 24 hours or whatever it was. And you walked in and she's like, oh God, here's Dad. And I was like, what's the matter? Dad wants to hear everything. She's like, no, he doesn't. She says, I already told Dad his version in the car. I went to a game. I slept over at my friend's house and now I'm home. And that was it. And you didn't get the rest of it.
Well, that makes me very sad. What did I miss?
I mean, she's just talking to so-and-so and you're fine. You probably don't want to listen. It's a long time.
When that happens, I feel badly when I hear about that happening, but I also feel like it's really hard for me to hear lots and lots of details
Exactly.
of things because I'm really, really paying attention when I'm paying attention and I'm cataloging everything the person is saying. And if it's
That's such,
things that are not important,
well,
it's really, really hard
I
to
don't
remember
think you're
that.
cataloging anything. If
No,
you were, why can't you pull it all back up and remember anything?
Well, that's what I'm saying is I turn it off because I don't need to, because I know it's not anything I need to remember. I'm just being honest.
I think the kids would appreciate if you could remember their likes and dislikes.
Well, they just need to get to the point much faster.
All right, anyway, back to you again.
Yeah, so what do you want to know?
Yeah, so you've established this quote, issue, let's say, and now what? So what does that look like, and what is a good? If you're observing yourself doing that,
Well, I'm not. That's the problem. I only noticed it because I listened to myself talking to you and realized I missed a lot of the stuff that you were saying because I wasn't listening. I was thinking about the next thing. I think we talked about this a second ago. I think that listening, being aware that this is a problem is the number one
well,
thing.
that's step one. What's
Right.
step two?
Maybe I need to take notes. Maybe I need to write down things when people are talking to me so I can force myself to remember what they're
Well,
saying.
I absolutely do that. Not in our normal house, day-to-day conversation with each other, but I absolutely do that in any other setting, any meeting, any Zoom, As soon as something comes to my mind, if I'm lucky, I get it down because it's so fleeting. It's actually really difficult to capture it sometimes. So
Like people's names. Like
no,
if you're meeting somebody for the first time, like you have a really good memory for that. Like if you meet somebody for the first time, you can tell me who they are
can
later.
I? It's gotten not. It's not. I'm not so good at that anymore. It depends on same. It's exactly the same feeling you're probably describing. It depends on what I'm doing, what I'm thinking about. If I really heard it, I often say, "Wait, tell me your name one more time." And but I will tell you that so many times people do that to me first. And they say, "Say, tell me your name again." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, nice." We have the same exchange. So very, very common because there's so much input at that moment. I'm taking in everything. I'm not just listening for your name only. And I have to practice listening for your name only and saying it out loud and saying it again, repeating it. And
Do you
then,
do that? Do you repeat it like over and over in your head to remember?
oh God, yeah. And then if I'm going to need to remember, and then I try to connect it to something I'm looking at the same time.
Like
So
association with what you're.
100%.
Oh.
Yes. So then I have a fighting chance. What I meant before, though, about writing down was more in lines of when, kind of like what we're doing now. If I'm on a meeting, on a call of any kind, and someone is speaking and I have my own thought, I almost always have my notebook and pen ready to just jot down something. And if I end up sharing or, just kind of going back and forth in conversation, I can use my note to keep me on track because there is so much going on. Like you just said, it's hard to quiet everything else down and remember what I wanted to say and stay on point and on task. So in those moments, you don't do that. You must do that with your clients.
No, I do. When I'm with my clients, I do take notes and I write it down on with my hand, and then I can't read the writing later because I've got such terrible penmanship.
Oh my God, you do have the worst. But I bet by writing it down, you remember it a lot more.
I do, but
It's more
I
accessible.
do, but then I can't read it, so it doesn't help me.
No, no. The first writing of it is that is scientific evidence. It has shown when you hand write something down, it is so much more accessible to your mind. That's why, like, when I write down a grocery list and then I leave it at home because life, and I still can usually remember most of the things on the list because I wrote them down.
You're not asking Alexis to make your list anymore.
Who?
Alexa.
I've never asked Alexa to make a list, you bozo.
Sometimes you say, Alexa, make a list.
No, I don't even. Can it do that?
Yeah, it adds butter or whatever you need.
Oh, I do not know.
Yeah,
Oh,
you need to try that.
God, I'm learning so much today.
That's right.
This is so fun.
Do you ever make a list or make things on your phone, or is it in writing only with like notes and
Well,
paper?
if I write it on my phone, it's a lot more likely I'm going to remember it's on my phone. So yes, but I really don't like pulling out my phone and doing that. That's not fair. I do like talk into the phone and do it that way.
Yeah, we talked about this. I don't like doing that because
Right.
I don't know when it ends stops. And also,
I
I
bet
like to.
chat could. I bet Chat GPT can make me a good grocery list that way.
Oh, and then it'll compliment you on it afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. Like 5 hours later, it'd be like, "Oh, I hear you." I'll forget to turn it off. No, I think writing. I'm lucky to be using a digital calendar. I mean, I miss my planner days. Like I really like writing down. Anyway, that's a little side tangent, but I really do think that it helps my brain in remembering like we're talking about, and I like there's just something about sort of slowing everything down to be present, I think, in that moment. However, back to you. Boy, this is something. I mean, you're not diagnosed, I don't think, but this is really symptomatic of ADHD, right? Like when you're just kind of like all scattered and it's hard to pull, and then you hyper focus and to the point where you exclude very vital information, which is what I think you're sort of describing right now.
No, you are absolutely right. I have moments where I hope if hyper focus and everything else is tunnel vision. Everything else is closed the world is closed outside of what I'm concentrating on. If I was doing video editing or music or whatever, I'm literally focusing on that, and
Oh, I
you
mean, don't
can't
kid
talk to
yourself.
me.
You could be scrolling on your phone on TikTok and you can't hear that I'm giving the dogs the same treat you just gave them 2 seconds ago and they can only have one of
I
them.
don't know what you're talking about. I don't think that ever happened.
But that is crazy because you're so like your ears turn off or something. Do you have switches in there? They like turn off? I feel like that's what happens.
I think there's a switch in there.
Yeah. So we got to turn the switch on all the time.
I know, but I can't do that because then it'd be too much. Because when I do hyper focus, I'm able to really concentrate on the one thing. But if I didn't have that power and I was just listening all the time, I don't know. I think I probably would go crazy or something. I don't know. It's just not me.
I think that's why maybe the kids, and with all due respect and in all seriousness, I think that's why like Floro didn't want to share all the details of the story. Like she knows that you do not have the capacity to listen to her go through it all in that way. And so she knows that you do care, but it doesn't come across as care. So she would just rather force me to listen to her. But it's not, I want, it is a practice. Like I am making myself focus. Because the second she brings up, oh, and then, Sarah did this. And I'm like, Sarah? And she's like, Mom, I just told you about Sarah for like an hour. I'm like, oh, right,
She's going to
shit.
stop talking to you
Yeah.
too.
No, I mean, it is a practice. I really do. And then I apologize, honestly, when that happens, because it happens all the time. And I'm like, okay, so wait, just tell me, Sarah, one more time. Remind me. I mean, and I joke, I'm like, Flora, I have 4 kids and everyone has 95 friends. Like, give me a break. But the truth is, I probably tuned out. So you're saying that not only do you tune out, but you are in the midst of a present moment conversation and you've maybe accidentally tuned out because it led you down some other road of thinking and you don't even realize you went down this other road. You're not even in the room anymore.
Oh, yeah. No,
I see you do that.
you'll say something and that'll lead me to think of something else. And then I look up and you're in the middle of something else and I don't know where we are.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, and for that, I mean, for all intents and purposes, you doing this podcast, you're doing a great job. Bravo,
See
David.
that?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's very interesting when I listen to the podcast because it's like I've never heard it before. So it's like a whole new experience.
Every day is new. Yeah. So I don't, again, I'm not we talk about this a lot in our house. We're not trying to fix you. I mean, or any of us.
Am I broken?
No, that's my point. You're not broken. And seriously, in all seriousness, you're not broken. There is no problem, except when it becomes one because you feel like you're not able to be or show up the way you want to. So otherwise there's nothing to fix. It's not broken. It's just the way you're wired, right? It's just the way you process, and that's okay. We have to say that to every single person in our home, right? There's no quote normal. There's no quote one way. There's a lot of quoting today, sorry, but there is no one way. Everybody does it their own version, their own style, and all of those options are vile. What? Viable. Golly.
What was that?
Okay.
Subliminal?
Let's. Oh my God. Ooh, this weather maybe. This like snow and rain is getting to us. No, every one of those versions is viable. That's what, of course, I was going to say.
Yeah, I think that you're right. And I think that it's a matter of, unless it becomes a problem or unless you have these times when you're like, I don't have any idea what's going on because I'm not listening and I'm not remembering what people are telling me. And I don't think I'm there. I just think that it was just a curious little thing that I I noticed. And it's not like the whole podcast I wasn't listening. I clearly was
I
listening.
totally get it.
It was just certain little phrases and little things that you said that I might have just been, my mind might have been wandering for 1 second and I completely missed it. And then I heard it later.
Well, I mean, honestly, so again, we'll talk more about this in the future. We're not spending this particular episode on labels, but the label on paper is attention deficit, right? That's what that means when your mind is wandering, where there's chaos. You create chaos when there isn't any, that kind of extra. I was actually just reading this. It's a little thing I saw on Instagram. It says a cure for popcorn brain. And it caught my eye because I'm like, popcorn brain? That's curious. And it says popcorn brain is a term coined by David Levy, a researcher at the University of Washington, to describe a shortened attention span and the experience of overstimulation. Like popping corn kernels in a pot, attention jumps from one thought to the next. Popcorn brain is characterized by diminished focus, heightened stress, fatigue, information overload, attention deficit issues, increased anxiety, and an overall detrimental impact on relationships and quality of life. I was like, well, and the last part of that little page said, sound familiar? Why, yes, it does.
I feel like I have popcorn brain at the end of the popping cycle when it's happening every few seconds, but not every second.
Right. Yeah. And then it burns. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, you know what, honey? Then it's like exhausting. And you're often at times exhausted.
Yeah, when you just said that thing about what that guy quoted, I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm any of those things. I'm not depressed. I'm not tired. I don't know. I feel like it's maybe a slighter version of that. Maybe it's not so crazy.
I don't think we talked about depression at all during that, just so you know.
I thought he said depressed. Maybe I wasn't listening.
You definitely were not listening.
But I will tell you, I have had people as an attorney in my office who have that, and they are literally not able to string a story together that's something I can even understand. And it's really hard because you do feel for these people because how do they live life when they cannot string a thought together? And it must be exhausting to be that far off where you can't focus even for a moment to be able to tell a story. It's really hard. And it's hard to redirect those people as well.
And back to you. So in that moment, you have to look and mine for the gold, right? Like you have to figure out what not only do you need so you can help them, but what is important so you can put them on hopefully a track so they can give you the actual story. But you have to be able to focus on that.
I do. And what I
Of
do
course you do.
what I do in that situation is I will reflect back to them what they're telling me, and then I think that's very effective to say, okay, so I asked you what happened and here's what you're telling me in response. And that is very effective because then they start to hear that.
So you just nailed step 2. That's step 2. And 3, right? Like that's the key. We talked about this with our kids when they are studying for tests, and they don't really like to do that. So one of the tricks that they could use is to act like they're teaching us the information. So it's a little slight difference to what you just said, but if you're trying to listen to the person, what if I have to listen to this lecture or this, read this book and know that I have to now turn it around and tell someone what I've learned?
That's great.
And that's basically what you said in the beginning of all this when you had the instruction manual from the 1900s, probably, right? Back when you learned whatever that was. That's what you were saying.
It is.
Was it not?
Yep. Reflect back exactly what it is the person is saying.
Yes.
But and that's a really, really good tool for everybody, for the person talking, but also for the person listening.
Yeah. And I'm just going to throw in one other little possibility. It's very caring. It's a very beautiful, caring way. It's a very it's a direct relationship to that idea of validating the other person.
That's exactly what is validation.
And
Yeah.
that's the key to so many things. And we've talked about that in past episodes. And of course, we talk about it all the time. That is the key to so much. That's how somebody can sit in front of you and feel loved and heard and seen. So we've talked about that in that way. But here we're talking about it a little more in a, not really clinical, but like a, more active version of how you can find your focus and be present and mindful. So we're just kind of coming at it from a different angle.
Right. No, it accomplishes so much if you are able to validate by doing what we just talked about, because it also forces you to get it right, right? Because the other person can say, no, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I mean. And therefore you get to fix it. And how important it is that the person knows that you're actually listening. And when you're in a fight with someone, if you're arguing with them, you're not validating at all. You're making your point. You're saying what you're saying is not true, and here's my point why I'm right about this. So it really slows everything down.
Every time you say if you're fighting with someone, I'm like, what are you talking about? Who's fighting? But the truth is, we do go back and forth in disagreement. I mean, I don't think of it as fighting anymore these days, but it is because you're trying to make your point. Because, and I'm always like, hello, look at me, like, hear me. Can you hear what I'm saying? You're not even registering what I'm saying. So it ends up being a back and forth.
Right.
That there was no intention of needing to fight. Perhaps a lot of relationship fights would look different and they wouldn't be fights if you could back it up and consider talking and listening in the way we're kind of discovering right this second.
So
I think it would avoid it.
Do you want to try it? You want to try it right now?
Try what?
We'll try this little method.
Oh, for God's sakes. Is that not what we just did this entire hour?
Well, no, I mean, we didn't give an example. We can do an example. Do you want to do something like that?
Oh, can't wait.
All right.
Kill me now.
So I'm going to, here's the beginning of the conversation. So yesterday I went to the store and I bought a bunch of stuff and I came home and I felt like you had not prepared the kitchen for me when I brought all the stuff home and I was bringing it all in, all the groceries. And that made me feel like you didn't really want to make dinner, and I was upset and annoyed by that.
All right, so the instructions were that I'm supposed to repeat what you just said?
Yes.
Okay, so yesterday you went to the store and you bought a bunch of stuff, and when you came home, you had the impression that I had not, your words, prepared the kitchen for your arrival, and that made, and so that dinner could be made, and that didn't make you feel very good. Made you feel like you were not. Now I lost my train of thought. That you were, that I didn't care about the fact that you had done this favor or good deed for the family or whatever.
Yes.
My words, not yours. I know.
Yes, that's exactly right. All
Okay.
right. Do you want to say something back?
I absolutely want to say something back. You bastard. Yeah, of course I do. What's that? What is it? We always joke that Friends episode.
When she's pregnant,
Like,
had
you
the baby.
sick bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I digress. So I am a little surprised to hear that, unless you just made that up. I'm assuming you did not.
Well, I'm trying to think of something that
Did you
fits.
just make that up?
I mean, I'm trying to.
The reason I ask is
illustrate a
because I literally cleaned the kitchen for the purposes of being able to put everything away.
Okay.
And I was cleaning the
Okay,
counter and
okay.
everything else. So I was just confused. Did
So-
you make that up?
Can you tell everybody what the cutting board looked like when I walked into the kitchen?
I absolutely can.
Let's talk about it.
Also, by the way, did you just do... Are you not supposed to go back and forth and hear what
Oh,
I'm
shoot.
saying?
Well, you asked me a question, so I was answering it.
Okay, I don't really need to play the game, so I'm good. Moving on.
How
No, this
is
is
anybody
good.
listening in to do this if we
No.
can't even do it right now?
No, we're doing it. We're doing it. So we have one of those big, huge wood cutting boards that sits, against the counter on the countertop at all times. Okay, so
And usually it's clear.
it's not really. It always has the little jar of sugar on it, and half my lemon is usually sitting there
But
rotting.
for that,
Okay, point. being it's not clear. Okay. So that, and it also is not probably been taken care of the way it needs to. Okay. Okay. Side note. When I was clearing off all of the counters that were needed for the groceries to be put on when you got home, I put the 6 or 7, oops, we're not supposed to say that, 5 or 6 things on the cutting board so that they could be easily seen by you that were your things that you just can't seem to put away.
Wait, is this like when I go into my sink at night and you, to go brush my teeth, and you've literally crowded the entire area with everything that's mine that you want me to take care of? Is that the same situation?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Like
what?
I think you do.
Okay. So what was on the cutting board?
A bunch of mail.
Yours.
Yeah, there were a bunch of things
Keep
on there that
going.
never go on
Go
that
ahead.
cutting board. I mean,
you're
they
okay.
were
It was
like
already dirty.
jars. They were like there was not 1 inch of that cutting board ready to go to cut anything.
No. We were not use it for cutting. It's just we use our other cutting boards for cutting. Plus, I was cooking. So no, and no. So it was just a staging area so that you could actually see the things that are needed to put away. I cleaned everything else off. Is that actually, this is amazing. So that bothered you?
See, now, how great was this that we both get to talk about
So
how
great.
we felt about it, and we now know how we each other felt.
I think we just lost like a dozen listeners.
No, I think we just added like 10 followers.
All right, whatevs. I don't know. I think that, it bothered you for some reason to see that you had things that you needed to do and put away that
No, it
belonged to you.
bothered me that it was on the cutting board where I needed to do stuff. But
You weren't even cooking.
I
Why
wanted
do
to
you
make
keep
some
saying
coffee.
that?
I want to make some coffee, and that's why I make my coffee.
Okay. All right. So is that it?
Well, we didn't really go back and forth like 6
No,
times.
you
but
didn't.
can.
The ironic thing is that you did not do the listening and returning part. So I guess I saved your embarrassment.
You know what? I think that this is a really good lesson for everybody.
What is the lesson?
That when you love somebody, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
And also not to sweat the small stuff, right?
Definitely don't sweat that. I am sweating right now, but I think it's a hot flash.
Well, it actually is warmer today than I thought it was going to be.
I know I don't mean the outside. I mean, I'm literally having a hot flash. But that can be another episode.
Oh, yeah, that's another one.
Yeah. Things men just don't understand.
That's right. Well, I think that we can wrap this up by telling everybody thank you so much for listening.
They're not here anymore. It's just me and you.
And also, I look forward
and your popcorn brain.
I look forward to listening to this podcast to know
and
what
hearing
what
it
I
for
said.
the first time. Amazing. Listen, peeps, podlings, we do need your help. We love getting your messages. You know who you are. We look forward to them like I can't even tell you. It's like Christmas morning every Tuesday. Thank you. And that being said, we, as of today, have, what is it, like 18 reviews or stars?
Yeah.
18 whatever ratings
On Spotify.
on I think both, honestly, like Apple and Spotify. And I realize there's many places you can listen to our podcast, and maybe you are listening to them in all those other places. But if you are on Apple or Spotify especially, please take a second and scroll down on the episode and just click that 5-star button, assuming you think it's 5 stars.
Yeah, if you don't think it's 5-star, please don't do anything.
Oh yeah, do not use your phone. Step away. But if you do, and of course you do, so just please do that for us. And if you have 2 seconds to write a little review, that's helpful too. Or share. I know we talked about this a lot early on. If you share an episode with somebody, it really goes a long way to help it be seen by others. We would really like this podcast to be heard as time goes on, especially. It's very good.
That's right. Thank you all very much.
For our egos. Thanks.
All right, see you next time.